Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about the Des Moines. She's the Tier 10 heavy cruiser of the American line. She is an excellent ship. She has 9 203mm guns in her 3 turrets, with 2 of them forward and 1 aft. She has a base reload of only 5.5 seconds. So that means you can just continuously shoot pretty much at any target. She's as an American cruiser, she does have the improved American AP shells, which means that she has a increased penetration angle, so there isn't a guaranteed ricochet until 22.5 degrees instead of the regular 30 degrees. So normally you do want to shoot AP using the Des Moines over HE. I struggled at long ranges whether I want to shoot AP or HE because I do like starting fires, especially on battleships. But at those ranges, her dispersion's a little terrible. So at around 15 kilometers, you're only gonna get like maybe 1 or 2 shells most of the time on a angled battleship. Her dispersion can be really bad sometimes. I've shot like at a cruiser at I think it was 8 kilometers, and her dispersion maybe missed the first 5 salvos. Like shells landing all around except for on the ship itself. It was terrible. But overall, she is an excellent ship. She does have a slight issue in today's meta because, as you can see in this one, I have the 18-kilometer range, which means I have the range mod on, and it definitely helps with sitting back here and actually being able to hit things out there, like all those battleships, setting some fires. Though it does struggle at hitting things at those ranges because of her floaty shells, like most American ships have. So recently, I think I prefer the reload mod, which leaves you at a 15.8 kilometer range, and the only issue is you have to push forward a little further. There was no reason for me to push forward here. I just thought I was going to be able to be getting some citadels on this Petro, but I didn't realize I couldn't citadel the Petro. So this thing is going to beat me in any fight now. So yeah, doing 2,000 damage per salvo, and it did 7,000 per salvo. So, and then the Oshino shows up, or Zhao, sorry. Yeah. Oops. But as a Des Moines player, you do have to use your islands effectively because she has a really high citadel, and giving broadside anything is a real bad idea because they're just gonna wreck you. So even things like Marceaus and stuff can citadel you easily through your broadside. And ships like the Yamato or Vermont, they can citadel you from anywhere on the map. So that's why the Des Moines needs islands to play, because pretty much you're always going to find a Yamato or Vermont in a game. So no matter what, you want to keep an island between you and those kinds of ships. And she does have a 27mm bow, so when she's bow tanking, and with most American ships they have that real nice angled bow, she'll probably be able to tank a lot from cruisers and below, but most battleships can overmatch it anyways. And here I'm using, like I said, this is using AP against the Petro, thinking I can, you know, citadel her, but I don't. And I get kind of trolled here with the with the aiming system, auto aiming system, because it takes, instead of going after this Petro, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go after this Yamato. And these 6 shells on HE all did non-bends, because I wasn't getting any damage with AP, so I tried the HE, and that didn't get any damage either. So I turn left to try and get this kill. I get it. Unfortunately, now I'm bow on to a Yamato, which definitely can overmatch me, and I'm pretty much resigned to die here. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but he shoots his salvo, and I survive, so that's cool. But this Marceau comes out, and of course, he citadels my broadside, and I'll get killed by that. But she does have a nice consumable armament, which is pretty much using a hydro, a radar, and a heal. So her radar is real powerful with a 10-kilometer range, which is fairly short, but you can, I think base is like 30 seconds or so, but generally you use a couple mods and captain skills and you can get it up to, I think right now I have it around 53 seconds. So a 53-second 10-kilometer range radar is really good in contesting caps, especially because as a Des Moines you can get in behind an island and then use your radar to spot, and maybe if you're at the right island or at the right position you can shoot over the island and get some damage as well on any destroyers contesting the cap. A weakness of American ships is their stern, which as I'll show you on the Salem. So should have shot AP mostly here. Earlier I was shooting AP and wasn't getting a lot of damage, so I was trying to get HE to see if it would do anything better, but it didn't. And then you'll see when I actually remember that this big stern looking at me is real flat, and that I should be using AP into that. So right here, you see I'm now aiming down at that stern, yeah, and getting like full pens. So if you ever have a rear of pretty much any American ship, that's where you should aim. I get Citadel a lot there. But she also, her hydro's decent, but more importantly is her heal. I think I get 4 heals, I think base is 3, you add 1 with your skills. And her heal's pretty good. It helps her stay in the battle a lot longer. Get heals up to, yeah, it heals up to 7,000 health, so about 14%. So with 4 of them, you're doing, you know, quite a bit of health. So the way I play Des Moines is generally, in the beginning of the match, I'll pick an island to get up behind, and then pop my radar. And as you can tell, I was spotted, so I knew the DD was probably on my right side, or starboard side. So, pop my radar, he's in range, take some shots at him. Quite a bit of damage to him with my HE, as you should be shooting HE at destroyers. But using your radar is really important to contest caps and help your ally destroyer contest the cap or any ally ships. However, I pushed out a little too far, ended up taking a citadel from the Schlieffen, and obviously the Highland got around that island and is now torping me, which is always fun. At least they don't do too much damage. So now I'm kind of stuck behind this island. I have 3 battleships sitting near the mid, and there's 3 of them pushing into this island. So this isn't a good spot, and I can't run. So the Schlieffen pops his hydro, so I know he's on his way, and there's not much else I can do. So just gonna have to try my best to not to do as much damage before I die. But this delay did help the team on the western half finish up on there and delayed these ships from pushing in, so now my whole team can just pretty much get as many crossfire shots as they can on these remaining ships. So once you're in a decent position like this, where you pretty much have 1 cruiser and 1 destroyer, and your destroyer's still up, you can push in, finish off the destroyer using your radar, and get in cover and stay in cover. But I didn't see that Napoli pushed a little too far on the island and was able to spot me, but he smoked up. and then we ended up spotting this Thunder right there. So we got rid of the destroyer, which is good, but turning broadside to a Thunder, I was hoping for an HE salvo. Didn't quite get that. That hurt so much. But I survived, and I just disengage, hide behind my island, and then stand here trying to keep these ships from pushing forward again. And same with the destroyer, just that came in, that ran from the eastern half is now on my side again. So he's now within radar range, scared him off from pushing forward, and now I'm trying to keep this Goliath from pushing forward. So everyone on the eastern half is going to start pushing in. So with the increased penetration angles of the American AP shells, I can continually hit my AP and get full pens instead of ricocheting, which is really nice because, as you can tell, he's trying to kite away, but with the plunging fire and the increased pen angles pretty much means that most of my shells are penning, which is giving me that extra damage, hitting me almost above 100k. So this is pretty much a decent match for pretty much holding this side on by myself. And that one destroyer that helped me. Again, the penetration angles is helping against this Golden Lion, and I don't know, this Golden Lion and this Alaska push forward into B cap in front of my entire team. Then the Alaska gives full broadside, not only once, but twice. I do not know what he was doing. But he gets wrecked, and this Golden Lion's just, I'm trying to get some citadels, but at this 9 kilometer range, 9 kilometer range, I'm getting plunging fire, so it's kind of hard to get some citadels on this guy. But basically we push off everyone from this Bravo cap, and I swap over to Alpha to help keep this Mothra from pushing in behind my ships at Alpha, because they're getting pushed by a battleship, a bomber. So using the island, I can easily shoot over, while this Mothra cannot. So I'm trying to set a fire. I don't know why. There's probably no reason to be shooting HE at this point. I should be shooting AP, but I enjoy setting fires on Russian ships for some reason. I see Russian and I'm like, ooh, fire. Don't know why. Probably just because of battleships I like shoot. Because of their damage control and how that works. So instead, this Mothra decided to push in only part of the way, give full broadside, and allow me to get all of the citadels on her. So I get 7,000, 10,000. Now this salvo, 21,000 damage, 8 citadel hits at this moment. She damages my 2 turrets in the front, and so I have to damage con it. But during that time, this Palmer got a double strike, and I was very interested on how he did that, because that was amazing to get double strike via ramming. And apparently he didn't mean to do it either. The Des Moines and then the battleship, the Missouri, assisted him in this double strike. So pushing forward using your radar to shoot over islands and getting citadels on cruisers is, for that broadside, is a very good strategy to protect your caps, because as long as you're battling with a Des Moines against cruisers, most cruisers, you should be pretty much fine, because most AP is going to bounce right off you, and if they ever show broadside, like, they'll just regret it. And at a longer range, even things like Hindenburgs, if you get a plunging fire on them, you can probably get a citadel. And I love it. I enjoy getting citadels on German cruisers. at like 15 kilometers just because they don't expect it. So when you're facing German ships, the further the better, because you'll definitely get citadels on them. But thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day.